Hey, it's KR from D&D Homebrew talking about why I think you should attend a gaming convention. And this comes up because I'm going to be going to GaryCon here shortly, March 20th through the 23rd. I'm going to be running some games, and if you're there, I'd love to see any of my viewers or anybody that, why? Because the first reason I'm going to say this is you are all gathered together with one of these gaming conventions with a like-minded, pursuit of games, of role-playing games, miniatures, board games, whatever it is. Everyone is there for this reason. And if you've never done it, it's a very, I don't know. Again, I've talked about in other videos where we are social beings, right? This is part of the allure of a game where you have multiple players like this in an RPG setting. And when you go to this convention, you're seeing them all around you. And you sit down at a table with a bunch of people you've never met before and you play games because this is what all of you love. And there's something about that is just soul enriching, I think, And so, because again, when you see these people and you see the different varieties of people that are playing these games, even if it's something that you're interested in, and I don't wear costumes or do any of that stuff, but I see people that do, right? And it's cool. Certain types of games I don't play, certain ones I like to. And it's just the fact that here are all these people that have come together for this in a communal sense to play games. And that is attractive. Another great thing about these conventions is the opportunity to play games that you've never played before. Maybe you've heard of them and always wanted to try, or maybe you go and you see a brand new, something you've never heard of or whatever. There it is. You have an opportunity to either play in a 2 or 4 hour session or sit at a table and just do a run through. And you can just go here, there, everywhere once you sign up for this convention. And again, you can sign up for a full weekend or you can sign up for one day, whatever you want. But you get there and you go around. Either beforehand you sign up for a game, which I would recommend. But like a Gen Con, you can sit at a table and just start playing one often. And, where are you going to have that opportunity? Because if you go to like a local game store and you see something you don't know anything about, am I going to buy that? If it's $50 or something. So maybe you have places like we do where I live where you can go to one and sit down and play, but it's hard to find people to play or whatever. Imagine this whole hall is opened up with games everywhere. And all you got to do is either sign up a little bit beforehand or even just go there and see what's available, because there'll probably be spots available in these games. And, it's really cool. It's like I have an opportunity. When it's held by somebody who's going to put it on, it's not just you and your friends trying to figure it out. There's somebody that knows the game who's going to show you how to play it. And that's going to tell you whether or not you like it to spend the $50. And it's all just right there at this convention. So don't underestimate the power of looking, even if you think, oh, I'm satisfied with what I'm playing. Check it out, because you'll see things that are really interesting, especially if you and your group sometimes don't want to get into another campaign where between D&D things or whatever you're playing, hey, I got this game at, GaryCon, let's check this out. It's a one evening game, and everyone goes, okay, because you played it. And that's kind of cool. Another great thing is that they have a vendor hall at these conventions where you can go and buy games. Sometimes they will have, like at Grand Con in Grand Rapids, they have a hall of used games and stuff where you can go and find things, and people are selling these. And but again, all of the major companies and many, many smaller companies are there selling their wares. They'll demonstrate a game for you, and then you can buy it right there. And sometimes they will have show specials where they have the books, very much reduced or the games reduced. I bought many things there. I bought many things that I sort of at the time knew I probably won't play this. But one, I'm excited because I'm in this atmosphere of like-minded people playing games. Two, it's half off, right? I mean, you'll see there's a vendor at Gen Con that has all these old games, used, some of them not. They're just there, and they're at such a reduced price that you can't help yourself but buy these games. Because you're probably not ever going to play them, but you can't resist the idea that maybe I will. Maybe I'll get my friends to play this game, so I'm going to buy it. And there's a thrill of the kind of hunt there. Like if you see something, you go through some, they've got these old adventure modules in big bins and you're looking through and you find something from when you were a kid. That's awesome, right? And you can find those there because there's all sorts of different vendors, from the big shots with the giant booths to a row of independents and all sorts of everything in between. So, gathered together. So it is something to, and so that's something that really makes it worthwhile to go there. Another aspect that I've always found with conventions is it kind of recharges your batteries in terms of playing either, with your home group or online, or, being a GM or just a player or whatever, thinking about now I'm going to be a GM. Why? Because you get a chance, not only meeting like-minded people, but you get to see how people are running. Let's say you want to be a GM, you can go see some different people, how they run their games, and get ideas and get confidence in doing it. But also, I think you suddenly realize, I played this skirmish game, and miniatures, I haven't played these for years, and it was really fun. Or I played this board game. A board game is really cool, those off nights that I was talking about. Well, I'm going to do that. And that's what happened. Every time I go to one of these things, I feel like, oh man, I can't wait to go home and play games. Oftentimes they're games that I have bought, but they might be games I went to, played in a game I hadn't played in years that I have, and suddenly thought, I should be playing this game. This is really good. That's what will happen to this. And so here are my tips on if you're approaching a convention, especially if you've never been to one, how to do it. Well, a couple things. I would say that if you can afford it, buy a ticket for the whole thing, because if you look at the pricing structure, it's usually like a Saturday. Let's say Saturday, the main day, people are just going to go for one day. It's not that much more expensive to get either Friday through Sunday or Thursday through Sunday, depending on the convention. And I have always liked the fact, I always like going to more than one day. So I would look into that, see how much, if it's really a lot more expensive, I guess, if you're on a budget. But again, it's worth it when you realize I could go another day. And you're not pressed if you're there for that one day. The second thing is, obviously, if you want to go to one that's near you, potentially, so that, like, for instance, I do the one in Grand Rapids when I lived there. I don't live there anymore. But I could just drive back and forth, right? You don't have a hotel consideration or something. So if you can find a convention, I'm going to put a link to various conventions that are around down below in the description. But, you find one that's near you, you can go back and forth, right? Depending on where you are. Again, if you're going to go, like, let's say you go to Gen Con, the biggest, you're going to go down to Indianapolis. If you don't live in Indianapolis, you're going to have to go there and get hotels. And from that perspective, my other advice is to register early. And if you're going to get hotel space, obviously register early. And some people like to be right at the place where the convention, the hotel convention center, if they have that, or right next door. And it is nice to just be able to walk there. But again, you can get a better deal if you go a little farther away often. So although sometimes they have deals through the convention for hotel space, I have found them not to be that much better. But again, that's just my personal experience. But again, register early. As soon as you can, register, get your hotel if you're going to do that. Think about the logistics of how you're going to get there. As I said, the first thing is to start close by as best you can. But the big conventions are where you see the most vendors, the most games, the most people, right? So that is the better way. The second thing is be prepared when you sign up. They'll have a date where you can sign up for games. And block out the time you want to sign up for games. Figure out, you can look at all the games that are on there beforehand, before you can sign up. They'll have a date, like 12 noon on this date you can sign up. So see what you want to play in, the games you're looking at, and then be ready at 12 noon to get your spot, right? And they'll have an automated system such you can't book like, I'm going to book 10 different games at the same time and decide what I want. No. You got to put it in your little calendar, right? Which is good, because you don't want people overbooking. So you figure out the games you want, and some of them you're going to miss out on or whatever. I've done it right at the noon time. One time I did it, all my games, I got everything I wanted, and I forgot to press and none of it registered. I got out of the system and realized, then I went back in and I missed half of them. I still had a great time because there was plenty of games. There's a lot of games, right, at a bigger convention. So lock those in, block out your time, because playing games is a big part of this. The final thing is they'll have tables. You walk around. This is what I did. I walked around one day and I saw this World War I miniatures game where they had these planes and you could go up and down and do these maneuvers. And they were playing. They were getting ready to play. And I said, oh, this is interesting. And the guy said, do you want to play? I got an extra spot. So I played. I just walked around, saw it, and played. you can look in the catalog and see the games and go to the place and see if they have any openings, right? So you don't necessarily, if you haven't missed out, you can see games. And then the other thing is they have open tables set up, and you'll see people playing, and they might say, hey, interested? And just go over and look at it, and they go, we're just playing this game. This is one of the great parts of going to a convention. But you got to be willing to walk around and kind of look around and see what's going on, see if there's something you're interested in. Are you guys playing at another time? If it's all full? Is everyone filled up? Do you ever play these off, in terms of what's set up in the event, agenda? There's different ways to get into different games. Because this is the other thing. Don't be afraid to talk to people about these games. Not just the merchants at the vendor hall. Of course, they're going to tell you everything. They want to sell you a game. But the people that are playing it, like, how'd you get into this? What's your experience with this game? And believe me, show any enthusiasm. If someone likes a game, they'll respond. And that's part of that. It's the recharging your batteries. It's being around people that love games like you do. All that stuff. Don't be afraid. Don't be just walking around all glum or something. I'm not saying anybody does. Well, I guess I feel like I've seen it. And so, and finally, this is a tricky one, but sometimes they'll say no experience necessary to play a game. And then they'll say some experience necessary. And you got to be careful because you don't want to get in a situation where you have no idea what's going on. But you do want to stretch yourself a little bit, right? Where you think, I think I might be able to handle this. Because that's one of the things. You want to get outside your box. You want to try games that you never would try necessarily. Because you know what? You're at the convention. And maybe you're there for 2 or 3 days and you're in a hotel room or something. Or you've just driven across your state or, 50 miles. Try a game. Try something you wouldn't have tried. Because you never know what's going to happen. And you're never going to have that experience again. So again, I hope to see whoever's out there at GaryCon. I'm running some Pathfinder games and stuff. Love to see you guys there. And a shout out, as always, to my Patreon supporters. Love you guys. Love making material for you. Some of the material I created for that, I'm going to be running it at GaryCon. So again, subscribe, like the channel, give me some comments if you're going. Most importantly, of course, as always, play an RPG game, whichever one you choose, and tell somebody else about it.